Broadcasting live from the Joy 106.3 FM studios, it's the Hill Wildcats X's and O's show with host Coach Darold D Williams. Wildcats, let's flip the switch and do this. Welcome to another week of the HillWildcats.com X's and O's show. It's homecoming here in Daytona Beach, Florida. We'd like to dedicate this homecoming show to Miss Ruthie Williams. Miss Ruthie's under the weather, recovering here locally in Daytona, and we just like to send out prayers and wishes to one of our own, Miss Ruthie. We're pulling for you, Miss Ruthie. Hope you get better. Ralph, how's your week, sir? How's it going?
So far, it's going great. Had an outstanding weekend last weekend in Houston. I got an opportunity to see our Wildcats go up against Prairie View, and it was one of probably the best football games I've seen in years. And unfortunately, we came on the wrong side, but I thought our guys played an excellent game. We had some miscues here late, but we look good, and Prairie View has one of the most beautiful vineyards that I've been in and since I've been watching football, and their fans was outstanding, and I'm hoping that our fans are the same way Saturday for homecoming.
Our fans, the food, man, it was really a trip to be had, and great trip for us, and we'll talk about it a little later. Larry, the professor, how's it going, sir?
Boy, not bad. Had to tough that game out watching it and wondering whether we had enough points to kind of make it on our own. But it was pretty tough. You know, it was a track meet. It was a lot of fun. I listened to it and watching it, and then we just sort of fell apart at the end there.
Right, it definitely fell apart for us at the end, and wish we could have had a better outcome for it, but proud of our Wildcats for fighting. We just gotta finish. That's
gotta finish.
The name of the game is finishing, and hopefully we can get back on track this week. We'll cover that game here shortly. As we said, prayers going out to Miss Ruthie Williams, and hope she recovers well. Homecoming here in Daytona Beach, Florida. That'll take us right into our SWAC week recap. Let's go to it. Southern at Jackson State. Final score of that game, Jackson State 35, Southern 0. I don't think no surprises there.
Well, I think no surprises. I do believe that there was a preview of what I think the championship game for the SWAC will be. I think it'll be a
big match. So?
Yeah, I think those two teams will see each other again. Southern's handling their business on the west side, and Jackson's certainly stout on the east side, so everything suggests that these two will probably meet again in December.
Right, definitely. I do believe that they will meet again, as you said. Moving right along, Lincoln University at Texas Southern. It was Texas Southern homecoming as we were up in Houston and or out in Houston, and saw a lot of Texas Southern fans there. Final score of that game, Lincoln 2, Texas Southern 37.
Well, that's not a surprise at all. Texas Southern's having a pretty good season. Got a great quarterback, young quarterback, who makes things happen, and they had the right homecoming opponent, and they flashed really well with that 37-2 score.
They did. They did. Only, as Ralph was saying, priming for this weekend against
Jackson State.
Yeah, Jackson State in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We'll get to that. Alcorn State at Grambling. Grambling 35, Alcorn 6.
That somewhat surprised me, and it appears that Alcorn is going through some issues similar to Bethune-Cookman. And, the head coach is now canceled his weekly show because of the negative feedback, and I think they got a lot of things going on there.
Yeah, definitely. I think they do have quite a bit of stuff going on there in Alcorn.
I watched the game on the computer while I was also, watching my game.
Right.
And it just appeared to me, Grambling came out extremely fast. They were energized, ready to play, and Alcorn just looked like they never showed up at all. In fact, the body language of the head coach, even with his players, he's got 2 new coordinators. His defensive coordinator for a number of years now is at Grambling, Thornton.
Right.
And so the word is that if Fred McNair does stay, there'll be household changes with the entire staff. But they just did not look like they were interested in playing football. It'll be interesting to watch because they're our next opponent after homecoming. How they will approach that game when we go out to Lorma, Mississippi.
Right, definitely so. Then, as we said earlier, our Wildcats go out to Prairie View A&M for Prairie View's homecoming and offensive shootout. The Panthers get the best of our Wildcats 58-48, and we'll cover that game here shortly. Arkansas Pine Bluff at FAMU. FAMU's homecoming, FAMU 27, Arkansas Pine Bluff 6.
No surprises.
I thought it would be bigger. I really did. Full sellout for homecoming. Florida A&M is really their last few years. Well, their homecomings have always been big, but now that they've got additional seating in the new stadium, and they're playing to try to get a slot in the FCS playoff. I thought they would score more than 27 against UAPB.
Yeah.
And it just suggests that even though they've fired their coach,
Doc Gamble.
Yeah, Doc Gamble, the Pine Bluff bunch is still playing hard. That's a respectable
Still
score.
fighting, yeah.
Yeah, 27-6 for homecoming, because usually FAMU goes big on homecoming.
Sure do.
Right, definitely. Next up, Magic City Classic, Alabama State at Alabama A&M. As I said, the Magic City Classic, Alabama State wins that contest 24-17 over the Bulldogs of Alabama A&M.
Watched that one on the computer as well, and Alabama A&M controlled the game.
Did they really?
They really controlled the game. They got away from them in the fourth quarter, much like ours did. But they probably should have won that football game. They played much better than Bama State did. Bama State, to their credit, got it together the fourth quarter and was able to go ahead.
It's all about finishing.
Yeah,
it's all about finishing.
Definitely all about finishing. That'll take us into our Pro First Sports Management SWAC week schedule and rankings. Tonight, it's going on as we speak. Alabama A&M, or they'll be kicking off here shortly. They'll be kicking off here shortly. Alabama A&M at Mississippi Valley. That game's in Itabena, Mississippi. That's an ESPN game, ESPNU game tonight. Tomorrow night, Alcorn goes into Prairie View. That's a 7:30 p.m. kickoff. That's also on ESPNU. On Saturday, Arkansas Pine Bluff goes into Grambling. That's a 3 p.m. kickoff. Alabama State comes to Daytona Beach for our homecoming. That's a 4 p.m. kickoff here in Daytona Beach, Florida. It's also on HBCU Go. But as a Wildcat fan, you shouldn't have to worry about HBCU Go because you can see it live here at Municipal Stadium. 4 p.m. kickoff here in Daytona. And we'll come back and cover that game shortly. Southern at FAMU. That's a 6 p.m. kickoff there at Bragg Stadium in Tallahassee. And then to finish it out for the SWAC, Jackson State at Texas Southern, 7 p.m. kickoff. I'm sure 6 p.m. Central Standard Time in Houston.
See, I think that's the game to see. Texas Southern, Jackson State. I think, personally, my opinion, Southern is not as strong as people might think. I mean, of course, they played 2 NAIA schools and beat them up real bad, but when they met Texas Southern handled them pretty handily, actually.
Gotcha. So we'll see.
I was under the impression until you just mentioned that the FAMU Southern game was in Baton Rouge, because I remember last year they played in Tallahassee.
Yeah, right. You know, we kind of faced the same thing against Howard. You know, it seems like we've been playing them forever on the road. So
Exactly.
yeah. That'll take us into our FCS computer rankings for the SWAC for power rankings. At number 5, Jackson State. They were previously number 5. FAMU comes in at 21. They were previously 17. Alabama State comes in at 39, previously 51. Prairie View comes in at 45. They were previously 53. Southern University comes in at 49. They were previously 39. Texas Southern comes in at 60. They were previously 56. Alabama A&M comes in at 74. They were previously 62. Alcorn State comes in at 90. They were previously 75. Grambling State comes in at 94. They were previously 107. And our Wildcats come in at 99, previously 93. Arkansas Pine Bluff comes in at 106, previously 98. And Mississippi Valley State comes in at 125. They were previously 121. So there you have it for the power rankings. Now that'll take us into our SWAC football standings. In the East, Jackson State comes in 5-0 in the conference, 8-0 overall. FAMU comes in at 4-1 in the conference, 6-2 overall. Alabama State 3-2 conference, 5-3 overall. Alabama A&M comes in at 3-2, 3-5 overall. And our Wildcats come in at 2-3, 2-6 overall. Mississippi Valley State rounds out the East, 0-5. They're 0-8 overall. And Prairie View in the West comes in 4-1, 5-3 overall. Southern comes in at 3-2, 5-3 overall. Texas Southern 3-2, they're 4-4 overall. And Alcorn State comes in at 2-3, 3-5 overall. Grambling State comes in at 1-4, they are 2-6 overall. And then Arkansas Pine Bluff comes in at 0-5, they are 2-6 overall. And there you have the rankings, guys. That's what it is. So that'll take us right into our BCU versus Prairie View game recap. As I said earlier, our Wildcats go out to Prairie View, Texas. Beautiful atmosphere, as Ralph said. Wildcats come up short, 58-48, after leading most of the game, even up by 19 points in that contest. We marched the ball right down the field. As we got into the stadium, Ralph, we had the high eyes in the sky, hungry as can be, but we had the high eyes in the sky, and our offense just marched it down. And then Jalen hits Marcus Riley on a 36-yard score to start the game off 7-0. Then, of course, Prairie View came back down and answered it 7-7. It seemed like answers all day until we were able to get up on them quite a bit. And receivers open for the Wildcats, just marching down the field. I think third quarter, fourth quarter, that's when the game started changing. They got us in 3 and outs on one drive where I think we were going to force them to kick a field goal. We get a roughing the passer over on their sideline, and things start to turn. We were marching back down the field to add to our lead, and we fumbled the ball after a reception, and it started downhill from there. Yeah,
it was very fascinating to watch the game, and to see both teams display their offensive skills, with points going up like a pinball machine. But, guys, as I sat there and watched the game, it took me back in history to think about Bethune-Cookman football as far as I could go back, and I don't know that I've seen a defense that Bethune-Cookman has had that's ever been as bad as our defense is. I even went back to the year 1960 when Coach Matthews, Bunky Matthews, was the head coach, and that's the year that Florida A&M beat us 97-0. And even in that season, and he didn't really coach, we were 3-4 in that season. That was the only big-time scoring that we gave up. But our defense is so porous right now, and I don't know where the blame goes. Something we talked about the other day, I think when we're talking about teams and cohesion, it's important for both units to work in concert with each other. And when we were scoring as quickly as we were scoring, I felt that hurt our defense. We needed to start to play the game with our offense to slow the game down so we could limit possessions that they got. Because I think the book is out on us right now. Anybody who's read the book or seen the book, Bethune-Cookman is not going to finish. They're going to fold the second half, and points are going to be available. And that's why I said it's been a long time since I don't think I've ever seen a defense this porous.
I think, Ralph, what we saw, and we never made the adjustments that we need to make. I take that back. I saw one play maybe where we pulled our linebackers out, who are pretty much run stoppers, and put one of our safeties in the game. And then
for one or two plays.
And then he was pulled out.
See, and I agree with Daryl. What I see, we have three guys in the booth, three defensive coaches in the booth. We have the defensive coordinator, we have the linebacker coach, and we have the cornerback coach. It's just appeared to me that you need to bring them down on the field because they can't see very well up there. Put Coach Lane up there. Put these guys on the bottom because Perry View ran the same sequence of plays the entire game. It never changed.
Never changed.
They ran the same. And you know what? On third and anything, the quarterback knew that he could beat our linebackers anytime he got ready, and that's exactly what he did. And we never adjusted to that. The linebackers were not fast enough to catch the quarterback, and we never made an adjustment for that.
Well, I think, when I was talking about the way teams in general look at football at the collegiate level, I think it's the same way in any game. There are only so many possessions in a game. Mm-hmm. There's only so many possessions. And so when you get in a game where the scores are reflecting sudden change with the scoring, at some point in the game, and I was hopeful that when we got up by three scores in the third quarter, that we would slow the ball game down a little bit, run the football a little bit more, because we were making yardage on the ground. It wasn't like they were stuffing us.
Right.
We were getting what we needed to get to move the chain.
So you're thinking to give the defense more rest?
Absolutely. Most teams.
So you think that'll help?
When you have a porous defense, you play defense with your offense. If your offense is moving the football as we've been moving it, you slow the game down, run the clock. The clock is the enemy of anybody who's behind when they're behind by more than 2 or 3 scores. But we kept going fast. It was like we were running a racetrack or a speedway off there.
See, I agree with everything you just said, but man, it's kind of hard to when you got a high-powered offense, it's kind of hard to tell them to slow it down.
Never get behind the chains is what he's saying.
Yeah, I'm saying don't go for chunk plays. When you run the football, the clock runs. When you throw it a lot and it's incomplete, the clock stops.
Get your first downs and then go back to slow poking it.
Yes, you know what, guys? I understand what y'all said, but I totally disagree with you.
Well, yeah, I mean, everybody's
because if the offense doesn't score and it's 3 out, then you said, well, they got the defense on the field too much. Either way you go.
What he's saying is don't stop scoring.
That's how you call the game.
Don't stop scoring, but slow down how fast you're scoring.
Yeah.
Well,
because now, Ralph,
we slowed it down at Jackson State. You see what happened? We had 3 safeties.
That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is, on second down, if you get in third down situation, our wide receivers were open all day.
Of course.
So get the first down, then run the ball for 2-3 downs.
Run the football. That's all I'm saying. Manage the game so that you can continue to matriculate it down the field.
Why don't we make the adjustments on the defense?
Ralph, at this point in time,
why don't we do that?
Ralph,
why don't we just coach the defense better?
No, what I'm saying is it's a combination of things. We don't have the personnel on defense. We're the smallest defense in the conference. Let's look at what we're working with. Our linebackers are not quick. You all were talking about they don't run real well. They run stoppers, but when you go up against, and you're going to see the same.
Well, flaring the back out of the backfield.
You're going to see the same game plan this week. The little quarterback Davis that Bama State has, he's going to run the football the same way. That's why he's a jitterbug quarterback. So don't expect any changes. The changes have to be how we handle the game and actually not giving them as many possessions by possessing the football ourselves. Not trying to score, but I'm trying to call the game a little bit different so that I can keep my offense on the field. When our defense on the field, when have we stopped somebody other than the Grambling game and they stopped themselves? That's the only time our defense has stopped someone, and Grambling shot themselves in the foot the second half with all the turnovers. But to go out and get a stop, we've not done that round against anybody. So I think you have to start looking at how the game is going to be called both offensively and defensively, and that means the two units have to communicate. That, and it just doesn't look like we have a good connection between our offense and defensive staffs. Let's give you an example. Same thing with the kickoff. We've been porous all year.
I totally agree with you on the kickoff. I know where you're coming with the kickoff.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
I've been saying that since the Miami game.
If you're giving yardage at the 40 almost every time, then just kick it out of bounds.
Because personally, like you said before, I've never seen our kickoff and return teams as bad as they are now. I've never seen them that bad. They were always good, but not this year.
Well, so though, when you have those kind of breakdowns, you have to kind of adjust how you look.
I agree with you on that. I agree. Because every time they put that ball up in there on a kickoff, I'm thinking, oh my God.
They're going to bring it back to the 40.
At least the 40.
So let me ask you guys this while we're talking about that. How many yards, so let's say, how many yards did their starting running back have? From what I'm seeing on the stat chart, he had, out of 21 attempts, he had 141 yards.
He had 141 yards. The quarterback, Trayvon Connolly, had 24 attempts for 145 yards.
That's a problem.
Oh, absolutely.
Of course it is. We talked about it the whole game.
and just as sure as I'm sitting here, guys, after watching Bama State against Bama A&M, their quarterback is going to present the same problem, and the running back is going to present, because they're a running football team. That's what Alabama State wants to do.
Right.
I mean,
what's the adjustment?
For me, I take the linebacker.
What adjustment would you have made in this game?
I would have taken
those
linebackers out on second and third down and put safeties in. I would have put a spy on that quarterback.
They didn't really hurt us up the gut too much. It was
Until they got inside the 10.
Right.
They ran straight up the 10.
Well, I mean, that's what you're going to do because,
They wouldn't touch.
Right.
Well, I don't think for one moment they didn't recognize that they had a speed advantage in the backfield against our linebackers.
Of course.
So because we weren't setting the edge.
Right.
They were getting outside regularly. And
So what do you do? Go in a nickel?
Literally. Yeah, you have to. You have to spy. You have to go in and you change the personnel. But guys, you also have to have a conversation with your offense.
Right. And to say,
call this.
help us out. We're up 19.
Yes.
So,
Yes. I mean, that's just good football.
But we talked about that last week, though. We said, do they even talk? We talked about it last week.
That's why I opened it tonight, Ralph, because I don't see a cohesion there.
Exactly. I don't either.
I see one unit doing their thing and the other unit doing their thing, but nowhere is there a mesh.
What I see, and there's some comments over here on Facebook. At what point do you blame the offense? And what I'm saying by that, I totally get your point of slowing it down, but at any point do you blame the offense in that game? I don't think it comes down to Jalen fumbling the ball. You score 48 points.
Yeah.
You come away with the victory.
Guys, in the NFL last year, Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City early in the season were having the same problem. The defense was not playing well. They were scoring too quick, and the other teams were scoring. And so they modified. Andy Reid modified how he called the game a little bit to give his defense a blow, to give his defense the rest that they need, etc. We're talking about not rest. We're talking about adjustments here, and those adjustments have not been coming. We played 8 games now, and they've not shown themselves yet.
There was, so I see the comment here, we're already in nickel 4-5, but with them taking guys down the field, you still got to put, like you say, a change of personnel. They're taking our DBs down the field, so it gives the quarterback the flats all day
to take off running,
and we're out there reaching, and we ain't coming close.
Our linebackers is not capable of stopping anybody going running in. They don't have the speed.
That guy was able to go east and west and turn up north and south once he got close to the sideline.
Guys,
he do anything he wanted to do.
If you saw this in Prairie View, Texas last week, book it. Watch what you see Saturday.
Carbon copy.
Book it. I'm telling you right now. Book it. You're going to see the same thing.
I agree.
You're going to do the same show.
I agree.
It was this, and you guys can see it there. But does Coach Sims make any calls? To my knowledge, no. But to his credit, Coach Sims was very active on this past Saturday.
Very, very much so. He was very involved in this.
Very active. There was still some SWAC calls.
You're going to get your SWAC calls. You're going to get your SWAC calls. But see, my point is, I understand what you guys are saying, and I do really agree with you. Our offense is like when Coach Pearson wasn't there, they wasn't scoring very many points. Now Coach Pearson's back, and we're getting a little bit better blocking on the line than we were getting the 3 previous games.
Right.
I'm saying that I think the defense has to recognize what's been done to them and got to make an adjustment, for God's sakes.
But what he's saying is,
I understand what he's saying.
In game, how many times have you seen us make adjustments this year to really?
Maybe once or twice.
Okay.
Maybe once or twice.
We're just not there, so.
But you remember what happened to us in Huntsville?
Yes.
They ran the same side every time in the same sequence of plays.
But we started making some adjustments, and then we just came out flat in the second half.
Well, the other part of it is that in those games in Huntsville and in Tennessee, we didn't have Coach Pearson with us.
No, we didn't.
Our running
No, we
game
didn't.
has gotten
No, we
better,
didn't.
and we don't need to abandon the
No, we
running
didn't.
game.
No, we didn't.
Our running back got 156 yards himself.
We changed up our game plan. I mean, the guys who got us in, I understand they were a little banged up, but, you know, we called a great running play at one time when it was called to the outside for Quayshawn, and he turned it up and did what he needed to do, but, yeah.
You know, when I was watching the Clemson-Syracuse game, the one thing they kept saying to announcers, that Syracuse has the smallest defensive line in the league.
Right.
And they said, but if you notice, they do a lot of things with that little small defensive line. They stun, they switch, and he said sometimes they get caught in they switches, but they still trying them. And I just think you got to do things with the smaller players. You can't expect them to go head to head with those big old 330-pound tackles play after play.
Those some good sized guys out there in Prairie View too.
Prairie View got some big old boys. I mean, I don't think they're that good, but
turkey leg and everything. Yeah.
I mean, you out on a farm, you're supposed to look good.
Yeah. The Wildcats tallied 35 points in the first half. That was the most in a half since September 18th, 2018. We put up 58, of course, against Virginia
Lynchburg.
So this is a huge, improvement over that. We punted once in the game, which is good.
And they punted once.
Yeah. 514 in all-purpose yards for our Wildcats, which is the most in the game this season. 244 rushing yards also sets the season high. So there you go, Ralph. The offense was still operating, and it did what it was supposed to do.
We rushed that football. According to the statistics here, 3 people rushed the football. Quayshawn 21 times, 156. Jalen 12 times, 109, and Terry Lindsay 1 time for 6 yards. That's 34 attempts. We should have been up to about 45 attempts in this game rushing the football.
Just to ice it.
Just to help with the clock, to balance it out a little bit. That's what I'm looking at. That, see, when you start breaking it down, you got to look at your own tendencies. We're an RPO team. Primarily, we run with one running back, and and Quayshawn gets most of the calls there, and then Jalen, who is an adequate runner. I don't think Jalen likes to run, but he's in an RPO offense, and so he becomes the second running back. But we should have had at least 10 more rushing attempts for me than what we show here. Still moving the football. I mean,
right. Yeah. You don't get behind the chains.
No, you got 200
Keep it going.
yards. Yes.
Keep it going.
Yes.
I mean, being a great game manager.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, but in order for that to occur, though, those coaches got to be like twins. They got to be talking on how they gonna operate. And like Larry said earlier, he don't think they're doing that. So everybody's individuals.
But still, even if they do that, you got to have your game plan right on your side of the ball.
Thank you.
So right.
Thank you. Okay. Now we're on the same page.
But if you see that one side of the ball isn't pulling their part, then you got to tilt the scales a little bit, and just like you say, we got to have some defensive scores, right?
I said at the beginning of the game, I said this defense got to score at least 1 touchdown. And what it ended up being, their defense scored 1 touchdown.
Yeah. That was I hate to say it,
That was a gimme. Actually, we should have counted that.
Yeah, right.
They should. In fact, Prairie View should have just fell on that.
I saw one thing where they had to score like 64.
Yeah. Actually, Prairie View was a sports, but they would just fell on that ball.
Well, you look at the 2 games we won, and the defense scored touchdowns in each of those games.
Right.
Omar Hill Robinson's got one against
Donnell Dees.
And Dees got one against Grambling. So and we're victorious.
There you go.
BCU was a perfect 6-6 in the red zone, and Prairie View was the same at 5-5. Time of possession.
That was close.
There was a minute in between the time of
That was
possession.
close.
So
That was real close.
very close. When we come back from our break, we'll cover our team statistics against Prairie View and go into our Alabama State scouting report. You're listening to the HellWildcats.com X's and O show on Joy 106.3 FM.
WAIGLP, Daytona Beach, Joy 106.3.
We're back here on the HellWildcats.com X's and O's show. We're on Joy 106.3 FM here in Daytona Beach, Florida. Homecoming here in Daytona. As we get back to the show, we'll cover our team statistics from Prairie View, and we'll also give some position grades. Total yards, Bethune-Cookman 550, Prairie View 561. Passing yards, Bethune-Cookman had 306, Prairie View 221. Rushing yards, Bethune-Cookman 244, Prairie View 340. Penalty yards, Bethune-Cookman 7 penalties for 40 yards, Prairie View 6 penalties for 55 yards. First downs, Bethune-Cookman had 28, Prairie View 30. Third downs, Bethune-Cookman was 8 of 12, Prairie View 9 of 4. Fourth downs, Bethune-Cookman was 2 for 2, with Prairie View being 1 for 1. Time of possession, Bethune-Cookman 29 minutes, 17 seconds, and Prairie View University 30 minutes, 43 seconds. That'll take us right into our grades. All right, here we go, guys. Quarterback.
I'm going to give him a B.
I'll give him a C plus.
Okay. Running back.
Can I say something about that
Sure,
real quick?
sure.
Jalen as a quarterback, to me, is a front runner. What I mean by that, if we get out and get going early or gets started in that regard,
Right.
He plays his best football in that manner. He's not the guy that's going to bring you back.
That's coming from behind.
He's not made that way.
Nope.
He's not that kind of guy.
Nope.
And that's not just at Bethune-Cookman. From
Right.
watching him,
When he's pressing, he's
not. You would hope he would have developed a little bit
Right.
more, but that's not who he is.
Totally agree.
we gotta carry that ball better.
Everything's got behind tight.
Yeah.
You can't be
Gotta
losing that.
cover it better.
See, like Larry was saying, though, your quarterback is the one person you can't afford to have turning the ball over.
Right.
Because
And
he's your engine.
you know they're looking for a boom hit.
Of course.
At that stage of the game, because if you drive down and score, it's ball game.
I mean, you got to make your decision, and if it's not there, then take off.
Right.
You just can't sit there and hold the ball.
And if you're running to them, you got to kind of start veering towards the sideline.
You think?
Well, again, it's no secret to the SWAC because they know Jalen. They've
Right.
seen him. Okay,
Yeah.
they know. I'm not saying that in a negative way, but they got a lot of footage on him.
Right.
But you got to hold the football
Right.
in those crucial times. You know,
Definitely.
you can't turn it over.
Exactly, yeah.
Running back play.
I'm going to give an A for that. And I'm going to tell you why I'm giving him an A. Because one of the big things with Bird is that he's always trying to bounce things out. And
Okay.
Saturday, he ran the hole he was supposed to run. He came out with 157 yards.
Definitely. You agree, Larry?
I'm gonna say here. I know Coach Sean had a good game, and a really good game, but we need to get other people in the game too.
Agreed.
Okay.
Agreed.
So for that reason, I'm not giving the running backs an A. You know, I'll give them a B. But we've got to be. It's a team.
Right.
See, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, Lindsey was banged up, though.
Yeah, but you had more than Lynn.
We got more than this. We saw practice all week long. We got Sparrow back there. We watched them run. Come on, Ralph. Don't start
So
that.
y'all making me CC this week.
No, I'm just saying.
Don't give yourself that bad of a name.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that.
What I'm saying, Ralph, is you're in practice with us. Trust your eyes. You know what you saw.
CC, if you're tuning in out there, you got an unexcused absence, brother. Just to let you know.
I hear you, Larry.
You owe us $138. Let's go wide receivers.
Hey.
Yeah, I thought this was the best game. I would totally agree with that. You know, I mean, we still not getting it to everybody. You know, but
Right.
You know, but overall, I thought that they played well, particularly given the coverage. There was no coverage on them.
No, it
You know,
wasn't.
literally. You know, that was a walk in the park.
They were about as confused as anybody else on the field. They didn't know who to guard.
Absolutely.
I mean, because at any time that Jalen had to throw the ball, he had two receivers that was at least 2 or 3 steps ahead of the defender. He couldn't do it to anybody. And the only reason he didn't throw the long one because he can't throw the long one. I mean, because number 7 was way out there on several passes.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have walked into the end zone, but I don't think Jalen can throw it that far.
Well, the question is, have we dumbed the offense down to not take the deep shot? Is it so much of a? Is it so much?
I don't know if it's not that we can't take it,
Because it's there for us.
Yeah,
but I
understand.
think it's just we can't. You can't take it for reasons that physically, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the whole idea for run and shoot or RPO is that you want to be able to stretch and take the top off a little bit every now and then. The threaten that you will go deep.
Well, I think me and you, even yesterday, we saw it go here.
Oh yeah.
I mean, number 7 could have scored several touchdowns Saturday. He was wide open most just about every play. So
Offensive line.
B.
I would definitely say B, and that's a solid B.
Solid B.
Because you can see, you know, it really makes you say to yourself, what if Coach Pearson had been there for
Yeah.
Right.
all those other games? Because
Right.
there's a big difference, and we're
Huge.
playing with less bodies
Right.
now
Right.
than we had before.
Because I kept saying that Daryl at the game, you mean to tell me this coach made that much of a difference?
He did say it.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I guess so.
It's a take.
Well, I think he's in sync with his offensive coordinator.
That's true.
Well, that's what it is.
That is true, though.
But we and I would love to have a conversation with him to find out. You know, you got a run coordinator, you got a passing game
Right.
coordinator. You know,
Right.
And you know, I would really wonder what Coach Pearson would be thinking about. Are we getting enough touches to the running backs?
Definitely so.
See, me personally, I would much rather be 80-20. 80% running, 20% passing, because that's the way Bethune has been the last 10 to 12 years. They were a running team, not a passing team.
Well,
And we run more when we run
The
more.
whole Brian Jenkins era was to spread you out to run the football.
Yeah,
They weren't trying
exactly.
to pass.
Exactly.
What grade do you give the offense as a whole? 48 points.
Well, based on what you guys
50 yards.
based on what you guys are saying, yeah, they got 550 yards, but maybe if they'd have slowed it down, maybe we'd have won that game. So I'm going to give them a B, maybe a B minus.
I give them, for me, I give them a B plus.
Okay.
They scoring 6 of 6 is huge.
That is.
It's huge, and I don't even count that last drive. I mean,
Because actually,
we shouldn't even.
those first 3 drives, I was trying to figure out who team was that. I thought, is that us? Because
In fact, like I said,
we made it look so
we
easy.
were trying to get food, and I'm like,
Exactly.
We see these white jerseys like heading towards Prairie View's end zone.
Yeah. Yeah, it was unbelievable.
I don't want to sound like Herm Edwards, but I guess I am. We play the game to win the game. Okay, I'm not. The whole idea is that we want to win the game, and I get the 6 for 6 and all of that other stuff. But but the bottom line is if we need to be closer together in terms of how we win this game, because one side is taking up the joint while the other side is lightening
Holding it up.
We got to find a happy medium there. That's what I mean by having a cohesive coaching staff.
What's your offensive grade overall?
If you're just talking about points, but I'm not looking at it that way. I'm going back to where
Okay, give us your real grade. Give us your real grade.
I'm grade where you all are. But if you ask me overall offensive grade given to winning the game, losing the game, I'm C plus. That's the best I can do.
And I was B minus.
Are you including the defense in there?
No, that's
Okay,
offense.
just
You
offense.
ask me offense. I'm the offense.
Okay, let's.
Because I'm not getting anything. I'm not getting anything from my defense anyway. I haven't gotten anything out of my defense all year.
Defensive line.
D.
I see the same issues every week with our containment, with our ends.
Our ends pitching in.
Oh my gosh!
They're pitching in every time.
Even if when he turns to go outside Saturday, if you just had somebody who was, maybe a think twice, and the more depth he gets going back, now it helps our linebackers out.
But he was pitching in. That boy just waved at him as he went by. It was no problem.
The old term that they used to use, they call it knifing.
Yeah.
Knifing. Rather than setting the new thing, everybody hears all over football, set the edge.
Set the edge, yeah.
Set the edge.
So one of the things I said to Daryl on Saturday, I said, okay, you and I see him knifing in, but why don't anybody else see what we see? Again, I said the boys can't see this. Maybe the field is too far away from them. They can't see it.
Canales saw it.
Yeah, I know.
That has been a recurring thing with this defense. And I'm gonna tell you this: I didn't see our defense play this way last year. Whenever Yogi was there,
No, they didn't.
Our defense.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
They set the edge.
They sure did.
So I don't know
but you have much better linebackers.
Oh, absolutely.
You have much better linebackers.
But there was a better fit between what the defensive line was doing and the linebackers.
Yes.
I don't see that right now.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Wow. Yes, sir. Welcome to the Hell Wildcats X's O show, Mr. Bell. Happy homecoming to you, sir.
Happy homecoming, gentlemen. Everybody doing well?
I don't remember you saying this is a call-in thing. What was this? How you gonna break up our show like this? How's it going, brother?
I'm doing well, sir. I'm scared to say, y'all.
Don't cheer for the offense, Jerry. I mean, don't cheer for the defense, bro. You might get the phone hung up on you.
Jerry Ralph had a good day. Jerry Ralph had a good day on the fish creek today, so he's feeling really good.
I'm feeling good, Jerry.
He showed his offensive game plan out there.
Oh, goodness. How you doing, Jerry?
I'm doing well, man. Like I said, when I first started calling in, y'all say, "Mr. Hell Wildcats." Now y'all interrupting my show. Yeah, I don't know what you pulled up on the opposite side of that reel, but I think whatever you was using to let's just say hydrate yourself. You got your feeling really well, huh?
Even better on Saturday, he said. So
listen, y'all.
Yeah.
Man, you brothers are tough, man. You guys tough on that offense. Larry, you ready to throw them away? They scored 48 points.
No,
it's a team game, though.
I think it's a game, and we're playing to win it. And so I don't want to just get engrossed with the fact that we're putting points up. That's the object is but it's how you call the game. It's how you get there.
So let me ask you a question. Is that an issue with the offense, or is that an issue in game planning, and that drives with the coaching staff?
Well, we're talking about a team. So when I see team, I see collectivity. You know, I don't see how you. I don't see how. I'm gonna say this: the school shall remain nameless. There was once a very prominent high school where I watched it, and I was a kid, and I heard a older guy who was a coach say, who was not a coach of the team, but he was a coach who had coached years. He says when he watched that team practice, Jerry, the offense would hide what they were doing from the defensive staff. And the defensive staff didn't want the offensive staff to see what they were doing. How can you win? Y'all on the same team if you don't know what you're doing and how you're meshing it together. And I think that's what I'm seeing with Bethune-Cookman.
No, I agree with that. I do think, and if you're asking, was it good complimentary football? No, it wasn't.
No.
At all.
Yeah.
And so, and to your point, at some point, you start to think, you say, hey, do we go out here and do we try to slow the game down? I'm of the mind that offense was moving. That offense had everything going. And, the one problem that you say, what would have happened if you say, let's take the air out of the ball, let's run it on a little bit more. Yeah. The problem I see with that is every time that offense came off the field, Prairie View scored. So they almost had to keep their foot on the gas to continue to score points because they weren't getting any help on the opposite side. And so that's just my opinion. But I get what you said. It would have been nice to, to have a little bit more possession and that sort of thing. But, we were up by 3 scores halfway through the third quarter. And, the only reason I would say you couldn't get offensive aid is because you wind up with 3 turnovers. And it's hard to win football when you got 3 turnovers, even though I don't think the turnovers is why we lost that game. I don't think that's the reason why we lost.
I kept having the feeling watching the game and seeing that we were playing as front runners and had been leading the game the entire way. I kept wondering what is going to happen when we meet adversity. How will we react when we meet adversity? And we just fell apart.
We fell apart.
That's basically.
Which is why I don't blame the offense. In that sense. In totality. Because the truth is, I told Daryl the exact same thing, and this is a sad statement on our program. Marcus Riley had 160-something yards receiving, so I am not faulting that kid. He had a heck of a game. Think about it, young man. However, when he fumbled that ball midway through the third quarter, we were up by, 18 points at the time?
Yeah.
18. As soon as he fumbled that ball, I said, we're about to lose this game. Because I haven't seen enough out of this team yet to say that they would overcome adversity. Right. And you just knew. You knew it. As well as the offense had been up to that point, the defense hadn't stopped anybody, and you knew we need a play somewhere. And it just never happened. And the saddest part about all of it is not that he fumbled. That's football. Again, the guy he was a pro. He had over 150 yards receiving. He's trying to make a play. I'm never going to take that away from an athlete. The problem is when the guy who had the best day out there made a mistake, nobody else on the team, at least the defense, nobody picked them up. And you knew it was coming. That was the most predictable thing of the entire afternoon, is that we would not respond to adversity, and that's an indictment.
A very fragile, mentally, emotionally fragile football team, because in any football game, most good coaches talk about you're going to have some adversity.
You just got to overcome it.
Yeah, you got to overcome it. You got to make a play. Somebody's got to step up. And I just felt we had not shown any of that all year long.
Right.
We really had
That's
not.
true. Yep. Yep.
What's your linebacker grade, Ralph?
My linebacker grade?
Yeah.
F.
Well, I think when you're grading it that way, kudos to Prairie View for how they attacked us.
Right.
You know,
I mean, it was a simple game. Simple game.
They didn't try to run out where our strength would be.
Right.
You know, they saw that they had a speed advantage to the edge, and we were not containing well. Why not do business out there?
Right.
You know, and that's what they did.
Because the defensive ends could have helped the linebackers.
Oh, very much so. That's
They could have helped them.
Like Larry said, you do containment out there and at least turn him back in or make him have to bow deeper in the backfield, and then you can scrape over there.
They teach that in pop.
Yeah, that's
funnel the running back into where your help and support is.
We get no press to lock out and keep the outside shoulder.
We get out leveraged every time to the
Definitely.
outside.
We do.
Yeah.
And that's been
Every
happening
time.
all year long.
Every time.
Defensive back.
I'm going to give them a C, C minus. It's kind of hard for me to give them a C minus because your defensive back is only as good as your defensive line. Because if your defensive line is not applying pressure, the defensive back will have a long day. And we don't apply pressure, and we don't blitz.
Thank God. I mean, the game could have changed a lot earlier when the guy was streaking to the end zone. He got in,
And the lineman was halfway down the field.
Yeah.
And then the other thing with that, our All-American didn't play the entire second half.
No.
Because he had dizzy spells. So that was a big thing, too.
Yeah.
I think, given everything that you all have said, I know we're grading one game at a time, but I think our secondary has held up pretty good all year long, given we don't get any pressure at all.
I agree.
I really have no problem with that.
I mean, because it's tough for quarterbacks and safeties to play tough if you ain't putting no pressure on the quarterback.
Right.
And we've been where we needed to be to contest pass routes. We've been there. We picked off some. So I think that's our back end is the best part of our defense, if you ask me.
Right.
C.
Total defense.
What did you give the cornerbacks?
I thought I gave him a C plus. I really did.
Okay, and I gave him a C. So I'm going to give overall for the defense a D.
Larry? Marcus already agrees with you.
And boy, I tell you, if I can get Marcus to come over, I'm in good company.
He said he couldn't wait to call in.
I need to have you guys grade in college, but there's no way I can give the defense anything other than a D minus.
See, there's a little bias here because we know our defense haven't showed up all year.
And this is nothing new.
They haven't showed up all year.
Is a D good?
For him it is. For him, a D is almost like an A.
The moral of the story here for our offense going further, we thought that 50 would be the magical number. We need 60 a game.
Well, now actually, in spring training, we said we were going to need 40 to win. That's what we said.
Well,
and that's why Jerry said 48 we should have won.
Jerry, what's your defensive grade, man?
I think the D- is generous.
That's what I was saying too, man.
Thank you, Jerry.
You got cut off somehow. Hopefully he'll call back in. I don't know, somebody.
Tough, boy.
You got cut off.
My D looking pretty good.
Yeah, I'm back.
Oh, we got to say, man. Who you got upset who clipped the phone line?
Yes, man. That's what happened. So, maybe that was the Lord trying to tell me don't say something
On this Bethune.
I missed Bethune came in there. So, listen, I'm back to, we got the professor in the studio who just said, a D is not good, but a D is passing. You know, you can't get too many of them in pass, but that we can't say we pass anything defensively. So I don't even think you can give them a D-. That is an F. That was we lost this game because of defense.
I was thinking so, Jerry. Thanks, man.
We lost this game because of the defense. And that, again, your team, you have 500 yards of offense, you score 38 points, 35 points, whatever it was. In the first half of a game, you have a 3-score lead twice. There is no way you are supposed to lose that game. And I don't care who's listening on the other side. If there is anyone who is maroon and gold, coach, player, supporter, who thinks that's okay, you got to own that. No, you're not supposed to lose the game when you have 500 yards of offense, you score 48 points, you up by 18 points twice. You're not supposed to lose that game. All you got to do is make it. Hold on, let me continue to rank. You off the field on 4th down, but you take 4 steps and hit the quarterback after he's already thrown an incomplete pass. Renew their down, they keep the ball, they go out and score a touchdown. It happened a second time where you 4th down low, you jump offside, they get a first down, half the distance. You gave them 14 points.
Yep.
You gave it to them.
Yep.
And so you cannot. That's undisciplined. If you're off the field, you are killing yourself, and frankly, you're not good enough to make those kind of mistakes. So that's an epic failure, and everybody in the room and goal got to look at themselves in the mirror and say, we got to be better. This is not acceptable. A D means that you pass, but don't do it again. A F is a failure. That doesn't mean that there weren't players who didn't have good games. There were players who had good games, but as a defense, no, you failed everybody. Maybe I should have hung up.
No. We were just checking, what quarter is that in, Larry?
Half.
That's a half.
That's the half.
At halftime, Mississippi Valley 17, Alabama A&M 7. At halftime.
I think they're going to win the game.
That would be good.
Yeah.
That'd be excellent.
So what's your special team grade?
Okay, let's.
Because we got to count on our defense Saturday.
Okay. Can I say something before I give them a grade?
Yes, sir.
One of the things you and I talked about Saturday, I said in the Jenkins era, we would never ever take the ball first. Because we always wanted to take the ball in the third quarter.
And what you mean by that? At the coin toss,
yes,
we deferred if we won to get always in the second half.
Because I kept saying you don't want them to come out with the ball,
especially on their homecoming.
Yeah. Now back to what Larry was saying. Every time I kick and put that ball up in the air, I think they're taking it back because I covered it awful.
Let me say this. Jenkins did that because he had Yogi Jones. He had one of the best defensive coordinators, best minds in FCS football, maybe college football. Now, right now,
in 2010 and 2011,
right. Right now, if I'm coaching Bethune-Cookman, give me the ball because I need to get some Cash real quick, okay?
I need to load up
Yes, sir.
before they bring their other artillery in.
Yes, indeed. If they get it first,
That's awful.
if they get it first, I'm behind. Okay.
From jump, huh?
From the get-go.
It sounds like you have no faith in your defense.
No.
Jerry gave me F. We both.
Ralph.
Back to special teams. So I'm going to give the special teams a D.
Okay.
And the reason I'm going to give them a D, because of poor tackling. They had this kid twice, stopped at the 25, didn't tackle, and he ran 15, 20 more yards. Our tackling is awful.
If you don't practice something, you can't be good at it.
Right.
I mean, it just doesn't happen that way. You got to practice.
Quick periods.
So my thing is this: the reason that I'm giving them less than a D, because I've seen this horror show every week, and I'd rather right now just kick it out of bounds.
You and I talked about that.
Yeah.
You and I talked about that. Let's kick it out of bounds.
Exactly.
Squig it.
I'll squib it.
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah.
There you have it.
No, I'm with you. Listen, the special teams, your job on special teams is to do two things. No, primarily on special teams, your job is to steal hidden yards. That's the, when you get down to it, you need to win, you need to find extra yards in special teams. Good punt coverage, good punt, good coverage on kickoff, long punt returns. You're trying to find the hidden, we lost the hidden yardage on special teams, and every single week, I know it's a week to week, every single week we miss at least one extra point. Our field goal.
You got that right. Or we try for two and miss that as well.
So, right, correct. So essentially, what you have to do is you have to get points in special teams, and you have to win hidden yardage. And we find a way to lose points every week with special teams, and we got destroyed in the hidden yardage against Prairie View. So yeah.
So I gave him pretty high D. It's not a D minus. It should be a D minus, but I gave him the benefit of the doubt.
One last thing. I know we got a caller waiting. One of the things I would always tell my students: if you make the same mistake over and over in my class, you're not progressing.
Right.
You're not. I'm a bad teacher, or you're a poor student. Okay, and so there should be some growth there. We're not showing any growth.
Exactly.
Right.
In our special teams or our defense.
Caller, you're on the Hill Wildcats X's and O's show. Happy homecoming. Welcome. Oh, man. Yeah, we lost him. Hopefully he'll call back.
Was that Willie Jackson?
No, that wasn't Willie Jackson. I think that's one of the cats who were calling in. So hopefully.
Was he on defense?
Why are you scared, Ralph?
That was a defensive player. Everybody got mad at you.
That's what I'm thinking.
So hopefully we'll get it. There they go back. Hold on. Let's see if we can get them on. Caller, you on the hill? No. Maybe bad reception. But guys, what needs to happen for us to be victorious this weekend? Let me try to get the caller. Caller, you're on the Hill Wildcats X's and O's show. Welcome.
How you doing?
Good, sir. This sounds like a familiar voice. Is this Mr. DeTilio?
Yes, sir. This is Ethan.
Hey, Ethan. Welcome to the HillWildcats.com X's and O's show. You're here with Ralph, Larry, Jerry, and Daryl. How's it been going, man? How's your homecoming been? First year on Bethune-Cookman's campus, first Bethune-Cookman homecoming. I know you're from the local area, but how has your week been with all the homecoming festivities and preparing for Alabama and State?
It's actually been pretty cool seeing everything happening around campus. I didn't really know it was going to be. I knew about homecoming coming from high school, but college is a little different with all the stuff they do. It kept me up a little last night. with all the activities, but it's pretty cool seeing it all around campus. Preparing for
Alabama
the
State.
team we play this week.
Yeah,
We're
gotcha.
just you guys got to come watch us. We're the entertainment. So that's all I'm gonna say. We wanna win for you guys for homecoming.
I know you've been leading the practice squad, the practice team out there against the defense, Ethan. What have you seen out of the defensive guys as you go through practice daily?
Man, they're just getting better and better. It's pretty cool being down there learning from the first defense, but just getting them better, it's just a plus on my end because just looking at their growth from the beginning of the season till now, it's been real good. And I know I was just watching, you guys barely gave them a D-, but they're getting there, and I have hope this week for them, but they're growing.
And you're helping with that process because we see you throwing out at practice and you're laying them right in there where they need to be put. Ethan, we know you haven't been able to play as of yet this year. What are you hoping for in your future here at Bethune-Cookman?
I'm really hoping to win. You guys had a really good culture before 2020, and I know COVID messed a lot of things up. But I came here to be different and just win some games for you guys. I'm from the area. I knew about Bethune, but I want to win. I don't like this losing stuff, so I want to change it all.
I'm with you, Ethan. I'm with you. What made you had a lot of choices. I know things happened at the junior college that you were at. The football program was cut out. What made you choose Bethune-Cookman over other offers that you might have had?
Well, choosing Bethune, I just wanted to stay close to home. I really just wanted my family to come watch me play, and I just wanted to stay in town. And just choosing an HBCU, it's pretty cool because I just want to be different, like I said.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. Good.
But I just wanted to let my family see me play. It was hard being all the way in Kansas last year, and they only came to one game. So now being 20 minutes, 15 minutes down the road, they can come to all the games and support me.
Most definitely. You guys have questions for Ethan?
Well, I tell you, Ethan shook up my world a few years ago. I'm a Mainland Buccaneer graduate, and someone had talked me into going to one of the early round playoff games, and I have never, quite frankly, seen Mainland's defense carved up like a turkey, like they were that night in that playoff game. And I knew right then. I said, I started scrambling, trying to figure out where did this kid come from? You know, because I got on the horn and started talking with some of my friends at the state level,
Right.
who go cover high school football at the state level. And that passing display that night, Ethan, I tell you, it that was an exciting football game. I just think you all sort of ran out of gas at the end. But, man, did you dominate the conversation with my friends that I was talking to? And they started looking him up and trying to find out a little more about him. And I said, they know I don't give out easy hype. Well, those passes he made that night just literally had me in awe.
Definitely.
I could see.
And we still see him making them
Right
daily.
now.
Yes.
Right now.
Yes.
Right now.
Daily.
Exactly.
Daily.
So Ethan, I have two statements. One statement and question. Number one, you say you heard us giving our grades and giving our assessments, but you say you want to see us come out to the stadium. Listen, we're always going to be there to support the people who listen to this radio station. Are going to be there to support you guys, and we do have high expectations for you, but we always have your back. That's number one. Number two,
Yes, sir.
you said you get a chance to experience HBCU homecoming. You know, now you're experiencing it as a student. Well, let me tell you something. It gets even more excited for alumni because people like Ralph, well, anyways, I'll let Ralph tell y'all off the air what it's all for the alumni.
Thank you, Jerry.
So, Ethan, you got any more for Ethan, Jerry?
No, sir. Just excited to see you out there. I'm really, really excited about the future. And again, like I said, it's more of a statement. We are excited about what you have to offer. We think that you're going to play a lot of meaningful downs at Bethune-Cookman and help the team restore some of the luster of yesteryear.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Ethan, before we go, and so you can get back to the homecoming festivities, but not too much. Go to sleep a little earlier tonight, you know. But,
I am. Trust me. It was more of my sweet mates last night keeping me up.
Oh, gotcha. Ethan, you're on live with tons of Wildcat fans. It's homecoming 2022. What would you like the fans to know? What would you like to see from the fans this coming Saturday?
I just want to hear y'all. I want to hear y'all when I'm out there, when y'all are in the stands. Every time we score, every time we touch the ball, get on the field, I just want to hear y'all in the stands. Make it loud and make it proud because we want to catch that W. And let's go Wildcats.
Let's go Wildcats. Hail Wildcats. Hey, thanks for calling in, Ethan. Great to hear from you, man, and we look forward to great things from you, and we'll look forward to seeing you on this Saturday. Hail Wildcats.
Hail
Wildcats.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Have a good evening. Mr. Ethan Datilio.
He's
From
a special
special guy.
Special.
Yes, sir.
I'll allow this coach to remain anonymous. But I was talking to a coach. He does not coach at Bethune-Cookman right now, but he is an HBCU coach, and he's very familiar with Bethune-Cookman program. He said that Ethan has an opportunity. I'll just put it. He has an opportunity to be extremely special, and even to the point that if he was starting quarterback this year, things would be very interesting. I'll leave it at that.
I've heard the same sentiments, Jerry. You definitely heard the same sentiments, and looking for great things out of Ethan. Great things out of Ethan. It's our live call-in segment. 386-516. Excuse me. 386-868-3411. 386-868-3411. I wanted to give the wrong number because Marcus Allridge has been chomping at the bit to call in. Miss Rusty Lodge says, leave Ralph alone. They just don't know the stuff. The question was just asked here in our comments. The next Scott Austin very well could be or better.
Scott Austin.
Very well could be.
For Bethune-Cookman some years ago when Alvin Wire was here.
Oh.
Out of California.
Subin went down against, was that FAU?
Yeah.
And he came in and single-handedly.
He's responsible for the play that a lot of people might remember that turned the Florida Classic in Bethune-Cookman's favor. He was a punter also. And we had a 4th down play and needed a 1st and 10 late in the ball game, and Alvin Wyatt notified their referees that we were going to not punt formation, but we were going to throw the ball.
Right.
And A&M gunner grabbed the receiver. And they threw a flag. We got the 1st down and went down and scored the game. But he was a tremendous talent.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Ethan is going to be the quarterback in the future for us. I think he's a great kid, and I think he has a lot to offer.
Well, his high school coach said something after that Mainland game, and I never forgot it. He said, if I had Ethan one more year, he said, I only had him 1 year, but to see that kid in an RPO offense
Right.
for 1 year,
He'd be dangerous.
to see how he placed the football, knew where the football was supposed to go, and has escapability to use his legs.
Yeah, he uses
Very
definitely.
smart young man,
Definitely.
and he will be something to reckon with.
6'4", 210. 6'4", 210. 386-868-3411. 386-868-3411. We're talking Bethune-Cookman Wildcats game plan against the Hornets of Alabama State. Guys,
I know Willie Jackson is out there, so you might as well go ahead and call.
I saw him already comment on it.
Go ahead and call, Willie.
What's your Alpha 1 staffing game plan, offensive side, Ralph?
Well, now, Larry is talking about putting the cruise control on.
That's why I asked the question, because I'm going to ask you what the offense needs to do, and I'm going to ask Larry what the defense needs to do.
Well, I tend to agree with what Larry is saying. I just wouldn't take all the firepower away from him. But again, you got to get the defensive and offensive coach communicating so they're on the same page. I mean, right now everybody's driving their own train, and no one is thinking about anything else but themselves. But for what I see, Alabama State has a pretty good defense, and I think that we have to exploit that to what our strengths are. Defensively, I'm not quite sure what to do there.
Well, I think defensively, you're going to get the same look that you probably saw with Prairie View. The Davis kid, the quarterback for Bama State, a 4-star athlete out of Texas, a highly accommodated kid coming out of high school. He's more of a runner than a thrower. He can throw the football, but here's the thing: I trust our secondary. I would be willing to go some one-on-one and bring an extra body into that running box to minimize Davis's ability to hurt us with his legs like we got hurt last week with Prairie View.
So you're saying roll a safety down, or
and live with some solo.
You do have one back. He's a little banged up, but he's going to play. So,
but he is a good. He's
a thumper,
and he has the size.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to have to get somebody's going to have to come in the box.
Yeah.
Because there's no way that Bama State's not going to look at that Prairie View video.
Prairie View,
and everyone else.
Mississippi Valley, until we shadowed him.
Literally.
That's how we stopped him.
And I think we still had the wrong person in shadowing against them.
They can throw the football a little bit, but their bread and butter is to run the football, Bama State.
Right.
That's what they want to run the football and be aggressive on defense and create turnovers. We got to limit the turnovers in this football game. If we give these guys a sharp field, it'll get away from us real quick.
Real quick.
Ryan Lewis is their defensive coordinator. He knows our tendencies. He's been with us. He knows the personnel for the most part. And he's a pressure kind of guy. If you watch what they do on defense, they stunt, they twist, they come. They bring a lot of people.
They stunt, they twist.
And they bring a lot of people.
Wow, really?
He's not the kind of guy.
He was coaching here last year, right?
Well, he's not, but he's a Yogi Jones disciple. He's not.
And when he was here, we stunted, we twisted.
And he came.
Wreck shop.
Yes, sir.
But we ain't stuck to twist.
No, that's not what we're doing now.
We don't do that.
But
that's just like hitting in practice permitting. That's stunned and twisted. You bet not try that. Yeah, you bet not try that. But anyway.
386-868-3411, 386-868-3411. That's the number to call in to talk to thehillwildcats.com Arm Chair QBs. Jerry, what's your game plan?
I think we need to have some offensively. I know you guys say we need to run the ball and play. I think that's the opposite. I want to see us score a bunch of points against Alabama State because I do not trust Bama State's offense. I think you put Bama State in a position where they have to chase the game. Now, to Prairie View's credit last week, they were down by 18 points 2 times, but they have a good offense. So they know that they have a good offense, and they continue to run their offense. I think if we can get out with the lead and get Bama State out of what they like to do offensively, then that bodes well. So, again, complementary football, score points to help your defense. We're going to have to. Because if we try to slow the ball, slow the game down, and I get it, take some possessions away and that sort of thing, But in so doing, you also keeping the game close. And now you got to trust your defense to make a stop or two. I want to see us come out, hopefully come out like we did last week, score at some point, get those guys to chase, and, you know, this time around, you know, maybe we hold a 2 or 3 score lead if we get it. So, you know, I'm saying lead with your offense, because right now your offense has played well the last couple of weeks. The defense hasn't shown up yet. So, you know, let the offense go out and attack and say, you know, our best defense is going to be our offense.
Caller, you're on the Hill Wildcats X's and O's show. Welcome. Happy homecoming.
Yeah, how you doing? Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Glad to have you on the show. It sounds like Mr. Corey Reed. Corey, how's it going this evening, sir?
I'm fine. How you doing?
Doing well, doing well. You're here with the HillWildcats.com Arm Chair quarterbacks, Ralph, Larry, Jerry, and myself. Corey, your first year on Bethune-Cookman's campus. We know you had a great career over at that other team in the SWAC, Jackson State. Come over to the Wildcats to help our Wildcats out. How has your overall experience been? It's homecoming week here in Daytona. Take us into the varying between, let's say, a Jackson State homecoming and a Bethune-Cookman homecoming.
Well, first off, all HBCU homecomings are amazing. When you think of Bethune, there's always more events here than I've ever experienced at any other school. Every week, every day, there's something going on. So that's what I like about Bethune homecoming week.
Good, good. And you hail out of the Atlanta area originally, correct? So you grew up around HBCU homecomings for sure.
Yes, sir.
Corey, you're on the offensive side of the ball. Great wide receiver over on the offensive side of the ball. What needs to happen this Saturday for our Wildcats to come out victorious?
We have to start fast. Most of the times when we have a good game, the offense gets going. The offense comes out and score the first drive, the game goes smooth. Not a field goal, not a 3-and-out, an actual touchdown. Once we get a touchdown like last week, the game goes smooth. It just comes down to football throughout the game at that point. Last week we started off fast. We were able to put up points throughout the whole game. That's how we have to do this weekend. Most definitely.
You got any packages for yourself in this game plan?
It's going to be an interesting week. We have different players in different positions trying to work different things, so everybody be able to showcase their talents more than we have previous week this week.
Great. Larry, you got anything for Corey?
I just want him to have a big game. I know the kind of athlete he is.
Yes, definitely.
He's a star-studded athlete. He's a game changer. He's a big body, you know. And I just want to see us distribute the football. I think people are misinterpreting when I say slow the game down. I don't mean to slow the game down. Come on, guys, y'all call the game. Take your foot off the gas pedal. Here's the score touchdown. But you can do it a variety of ways, and I'll take our wide receivers. I think we match up well with anybody in the conference. Our problem has been getting the football to the people.
Right.
And so I'm never going to advocate not doing that, because I know we got a great receivers room where we have some guys who are game changers who can take the top off, and guys who can make big plays, big body guys like Corey. I mean, get them the football and let them do their thing.
Right.
So the professor here has been talking about you all season, about you being a big-time receiver from out of Atlanta. Let me ask you a question. What do you think you need to do this coming Saturday to show up at this game?
I think we need to make more skillful plays. I'm talking 40-yard touchdowns. You know what I mean? I'm talking something to get the crowd going and have everybody happy for homecoming. And of course, the alumni, because that's what it all comes down to. The bigger plays down the field, what makes us win the game. You know, we can't do nothing short. We need all long passes, make contested catches. You know, those 3-week catches that have the crowd going. That's how we win games.
I agree with you.
Take the top off.
Take the top off.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier.
Take the top off. That's all it is.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with you. You know the play that we ran against Grambling, where
Which play against Grambling?
the one that they had you going down, streaking down the sideline, and and Riley threw. I mean, not all of Riley throws the ball great all of that one. I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, man, throw the ball to the goal.
All the time to leave it on, right?
All the time he throws it short.
I would see always Riley was on the call because he wouldn't like that one.
We know about baby AI.
Football, man. That's football.
It happens, man. Jerry, I mean,
We got a lot coming this weekend.
All right.
I got two quick questions. Number one, did Riley at least buy you a hamburger after that pass?
Yeah. He catered me. He catered me the next week. He catered me.
The other question I have for you is the offense really has, it seems like you guys have found your stride over the last several weeks. What's happened? Has it just been timing? Has it been just working with those guys for a longer period of time? What's been the key?
Well, I think now we all are comfortable with the playbook. So coach can call anything, and no matter what position you at on the field, we're moving faster. So he can call a crazy play with a lot of motion and things like that. But when we're comfortable with the playbook, we play faster. So that's what happened last week. We moved Riley to slot. That's what he's most comfortable at. So we're able to get more guys in the field and play in position that you've been doing for a while. And that's what I wish we would have did it sooner, but now we're comfortable with each other. Like, I trust Riley to block for me, he trusts me to block for him, and the band is getting stronger.
There you go.
That's interesting. That's very
There
interesting.
you go. And
Very interesting.
Yeah, I'm just mad it happened so late, but it's a good thing, because I hope they carry on to next season.
definitely.
All right. Thank you. That's a very good answer, actually. Thank you.
Corey, all your Wildcat fans are listening right now. Is there anything you want to say to the fan base going into this Saturday's homecoming game?
The main thing I want to say is we bring the show for y'all, and then y'all put on the show for us in the stands. I know everything ain't been how we want it, but we're still in it. So at the end of the day, we put on the show for y'all, and y'all come put on the show for us, and we'll all be happy.
There you go.
Agree.
Can't say it any better.
I agree.
Can't say it any better.
We need that energy this weekend.
All right, brother. We're going to bring it.
Corey, thanks for calling in, man. You're welcome to be on the HillWildcats.com X's and O's show at any time, man. Hill Wildcats, and we look forward to seeing you have a great game on this coming Saturday.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you all.
Yes, sir. Have a good evening, man. Get some rest.
Yes, sir. I am right now.
All right. Have a good night, man.
All right, thanks.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You too.
Well, there you have it, guys.
Is that it?
No.
Wait, really?
We're going to need 60 points to win this game.
I agree.
Man, that's a great point. Listen, man. So look, those guys know football way better than we do. But I am saying that we said Riley should have been in the slot a long time ago. It's just interesting to hear from that perspective. Whatever it is, though, it's working right now.
Yeah.
Because the offense really is clicking, and hopefully we get to see a little bit of all of that. Right, take the top off the defense, get the ball to the playmakers in space, and the crowd be energized because it really does. The team really does feed off the energy of the crowd. So, Wildcat fans, let's bring it. Let's watch our guys go on to victory this week, and let's do everything we can to support them.
So, Jerry, how many points do you think is it going to take for us to win Saturday?
More points than Alabama State. I'll say this. I don't think Alabama State will get support. I don't think that. So I think that we can go out and have the type of offensive explosion that we've had the last couple of weeks. I think it takes Alabama State out of everything they want to do. I do think, and right now, we cannot trust our defense up to this point. That doesn't mean that they can't make a stop or two and make a play, but we can't expect our defense to lead us at this point. So the offense has to take the lead. The best thing you can do on offense, to me, is 4 points. So go go out, score a bucket load of points. If we get to 40, I think we win this game.
I'm terribly frightened by turnovers. And this Bama State team scares me because they manufacture turnovers. We got to be very careful with that football, particularly throwing it in against a very aggressive defensive backfield.
Right.
Trust me when I tell you that. So that would be my keys to the game. We minimize the turnover battle. We win that part of the game. I think we have a shot at winning the game. But if we turn this football over, they're going to score. It's going to put us further behind in that situation.
Caller, you're on the Hill Wildcats X's and O's show. Welcome and happy homecoming.
Good evening, happy homecoming. How we doing tonight, fellas?
Oh boy. Look good, Marcus. How's it going tonight, sir?
It's good. Just checking out a couple games. Valley up 20-7 on A&M. I guess they got their mojo from when they played us, so they're not playing some ball. I definitely wanted to call in, man. Whew. Where should I start at? I would say this. I'm going to say this. Everybody that I have talked to agree. Cookman has the athletes to be a top team. We got the athletes. What about the coaching? Ralph has been said it many times. One coach do what they want to do, the other coach do what they want to do. Not on the same page. And it clearly showed on this last game. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
You're good.
Okay. It clearly showed in this last game. We got 35 points in the first half. We're doing our thing in the first half. Second half, we flat on defense. Okay, we flat on defense. Offense, control the clock. Don't really, I would say don't go too far out of your game plan, but you got to control the clock. If they got over 150 yards, that means they can't stop the run. Pound the ball, run the clock. Because you throw passes, incomplete passes going to do what? Stops the clock. We didn't do that. We kept throwing the ball. They would give them some pops, but then we go back to throwing the ball. Then we got to the position where we're in a shootout with them. And now I'm going to switch over to the defense. Coordinator did not make not one adjustment in the second half. He played 2 high safeties the whole second half. 2 high safeties. 4 receivers, 2 high safeties. What are you doing? They got 3 on one side. You got 2. You got your nickel back and your cornerback. Then you got a high safety. Like, come on, bring that safety down. Move the other safety to the middle. What are we doing? They was killing us. Our linebackers, they would come up. That middle field was wide open. If they bail out, quarterback run. All second half. Nothing changed. Like, I was completely blown away. Like, what do you do? You're a coordinator. You should know this. And I did ask the question, what Fields is saying, because he hears everything. I'm sure you got to step in and say, wait. We got to bring safety down or something in that matter. Because this game, players didn't lose this game. It was lost on the coaching side. I understand we lost some turnovers with Jalen in the end. He shouldn't have had the ball. It should have been pounded. It should have been run. But we in the shootout. So we definitely we got the players. I'm going to say that over and over. We got the players. But we don't have the coaching put them in the right position. They're not in the right playing scheme, and we're not making the right adjustments when we need to make the adjustments.
What's your game plan for Saturday? With that being said,
so the game plan for this Saturday, I would say this: you got to come out fast because Alabama State, they're aggressive on the defense. You got to match that aggressiveness. Quick pass, screens, draws. Don't leave your line blocking
for more than 5 seconds because they come in with the pressure. My former player Bellamy, I know he's ready. He's coming back home. So we got to be able to match their aggressiveness with our offense against their defense, and then our defense. We got to switch it up. You got to switch it up. Everybody, like I say, everybody know how to game plan on defense. 2 high safeties and 2 linebackers. No twists, no stunts, just straight up D-line, bull rush. It's not getting off the blocks. That's it. We got to change that. It got to be changed. And Davis is not. He's going to run wild. And then he's going to try to throw it up to Shavalt, whatever the wide receiver's name. We got to make the adjustments.
Definitely have to make the adjustments. Well, thanks, Marcus, man. We knew you were going to call in because you said you were going to do it.
Oh, yeah. And I hate I can't be at homecoming because, we won last week, so we moving on. But after this week, I do want everybody, once we win this weekend, I would like for everybody to come to Daytona because that's the Super Bowl for me in Florida, and that's what we're looking at, trying to get to the Super Bowl. It's going to be right at the Daytona Stadium.
Well, hopefully you guys will make it to the Super Bowl, man, and we'll look forward to that, and we'll be cheering for you this Saturday.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Marcus, Jared, all right. Marcus, you coach for U10? You coach for U10?
I coach in Palm Coast, 12U, Flagler Bulldogs.
Okay.
Well, thanks for calling in, Marcus, man. Like I said, we'll be cheering for you this Saturday, and we look forward to hearing from you next Thursday night. All
right, take care, guys.
Have a good night, Hail Wildcats.
Hail Wildcats.
There you go, guys.
You called it.
He sounds like he's a defensive coordinator. Yeah, at least
he played.
At least he has a plan.
Right. Definitely so.
Yeah, boy.
Larry, what you say, Larry?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I think what's so frustrating is you said, Ryan. We all know Ryan Lewis. He was a great player for BETHUNE-COOKMAN. Coach Tony Jones. He was here last year. And when he was here, the things that we're seeing over Alabama State, we weren't doing it here either. So, he was here last year. We didn't do it last year. So it's not I don't think this is all current defensive coordinator. I think this is what the head coach wants. But at some point, you got to look at your personnel. If you're going to be a build but don't break, you still got to get pressure with 4, which we can't. Or you got to be good in the red zone, which we're not. So you can't force this system if you don't have those type of players. You either got to win with 4 people consistently, or you got to be stout in the red zone. But you can't give up points in the red zone and not get pressure on the quarterback and still sit back with 2 high safeties and play a soft but don't break the whole game. You're bending and you're breaking.
Yeah, it just doesn't work out for you. It just, and coming into that game, we had a lot of momentum amongst our players. I mean, just the way practice went, a lot of that. Losing that game after coming out, doing what we needed at the beginning of the game, all the way deep into late in the game, and then losing in that way, it takes something from you. It just, it leaves you empty,
Yeah, well, it was a crossover game. I mean, you win that football game, and then there's some discussions now. You may be able to run the table.
Right. Right.
If you win that, but to lose it in the way we lost it, how do you get your wins back in your sails? That was gut wrenching. It really was. It's hard to come back from that. And Bama State is not your traditional homecoming.
No.
Much better than that.
Yeah.
They really get after you.
Yeah.
Defensively.
Carl, you're on the Hill Wildcats X's and O's show. Welcome. Happy homecoming.
Happy homecoming, guys. Really
glad to be How's it going, sir? Happy homecoming to you.
It's going good.
Good.
Only thing I want to mention to you, last week, it wasn't the show, it was saying, well, the difference of the game going to be coaching. And I think last week, I said, well, we know we're going to win. You guys remember that?
Yeah, I mentioned it to Ralph up in the stands.
But, I'm looking, I'm looking at you guys giving grades, and it's all well and good to give grades to positions, but positions don't make teams. A team make a team. And I'm gonna be like Dr. Reed told me one summer. I was going to summer school, and I asked him what grade I'm going to get, and he said he was going to give me an H. And I said an H. He said, yeah, you get past F because you ain't do nothing. So if he asked me what to give the team, that's what I give him, an H. But
So basically complete.
I think Coach Sims has lost the team. The team is, to me, it's over. But I hate to say it's okay, but I'm a Wildcat forever, and we're going to make changes like we did in 1992 and 93. We had two terrible seasons back to back, and we made some changes, and we came back, and I think we can do that again. Saturday, we'll just do it again. I mean, I don't know how bad, but I doubt we don't have a chance against Alabama State. Not when I look at the two teams. And maybe we can beat Alcorn because they got problems with it. And I just hope A&M will score 100 points in it. If they get a chance to embarrass us, they don't.
Let's go week by week, man.
Jumping on us, they jump on us like that.
I'm not really like my thing is, I actually at the beginning of the season, I thought we would win 4 games. And that's kind of like, I don't know if we could get there. Unless somebody's going to surprise us, I really don't. But we just got to make some changes to not be the joke. I'm going to say this, I saw a comment on Facebook the other day that Deion Sanders was talking to his daughter about playing basketball, and his son asked the daughter that where they going to play North Carolina. He said, who? He said North Carolina, and Deion Sanders said, he said North Carolina, not Bethune. We're a joke on
he said that?
SWAC now.
We're going to have to get Pookie to go in his house. So he making a joke out of us now, huh? Oh, okay.
Yeah, and my thing is, we don't need to talk. We just need to get our situation like we got when Jenkins came in and change and just go and beat them and do the Wildcats again. That's all I'm looking forward to.
Definitely so. Definitely looking to be the Wildcats that we know we can be.
Well, like tomorrow night, I'll be again with, I look at our team, look like they don't have no heart. Tomorrow night, I'll be around about 50 guys that I know had heart. And just like Bunch of Wesley always used to say, son, you got to want it. And I hope one day these guys start putting in these days, have to want it. Or want it. Because on the football team, your talent might be one thing, but your heart got to be more than that.
Yes, indeed.
Definitely.
Yep.
Definitely
Yes,
so.
indeed.
Definitely.
That is so true.
You guys have a happy homecoming. And
Yes, sir. Same, and we look
I don't
forward to
think we'll
seeing.
be victorious, but we'll be there.
Ralph, we got to prove Willie wrong.
Well, we're going to prove you wrong, big guy. Just because you got one right last week.
You slipped one in.
Yeah, okay.
You almost had
You
it.
got lucky.
I'm 9-2.
Well, we just can't win against you.
You guys have a good one.
Always good. Wildcats, happy homecoming, Willie. We'll talk to you next week. All right. Willie Jackson, man.
Well, he's not joking. There's going to be some guys in town.
Yeah,
tomorrow
definitely. Definitely.
We were some dogs. You hear me? I
Definitely.
mean, there were some Wildcat dogs. They had heart, and they came to play. And it was not going to be any way but that.
But that, right.
There was no
Yeah,
option.
but who was that coach?
Charles Wesley Moore.
And what kind of coach was he?
He was a very hands-on and in your face.
Okay, you answered my question.
And he was a taskmaster.
So there was a reflection of that coach.
It was more than just a reflection. Whenever we lost, the whole coaching staff would be moaning the next practice that Monday, because the first thing he gonna holler out is first team defense against first team offense. And boy, you talk about a bloodbath. Oh my God. It was a bloodbath.
Wow. With 3 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in the third quarter, Alabama A&M 14, Mississippi Valley 20. So,
Gotta finish.
Gotta finish. Closing words. Jerry, you want to take it away with our closing words?
We're not leaving homecoming.
Hey, he said that against Valley, right? Yeah, he said he's not losing to Mississippi Valley. So, Jerry's words, we're not losing homecoming.
We're not losing homecoming this year. We don't have one of, as Larry would say, Miss Mary, she's going to be active this game. And so, I think, even though again, it's a bit deflating to lose a game like that last week, where we certainly smashed the heat for the jaws of victory. But I think we'll come back, and the offense is rolling enough that I think we'll keep enough energy in the crowd that we'll get the type of bump from our crowd that Prairie View got last week for their homecoming crowd. And we're going to walk away with a victory. And when we see Ed Robinson Jr., we're going to say we not SWAC because we don't even like it over here.
Hail Wildcat.
And the church said amen.
Amen. Well, I guess I'm going to piggyback on what Jerry was saying. We will get a W Saturday, but we're going to need support of all our alumni and class of '84 and the football team. Come out, cheer us on, and help us win this game.
Definitely. Stop by and see us at Tailgate Spot 90. Doing some changes out there.
They moving us off.
Yeah, I know, right?
We were 77, now we're 90.
Yep.
Stop by and see us at Tailgate Spot 90 for all your hunger needs to be quenched. Stop by the HillWildcats.com tent. We look forward to seeing everyone this Saturday. Get there early. $30 parking on the home side. First come, first serve. Cash or Cash App. So be ready. So
Gates open at 7 a.m., right?
7 a.m. Gates open at 7 a.m. So
7 a.m. Good.
yeah, they open at 7 a.m. If you think parking's been crazy before,
Boy. Wait till Saturday.
just wait. So
Absolutely.
Larry, you got closing words?
I'd like to win homecoming. I really would think that would make all of us happy. I'm hoping and praying. I got one word. I said it earlier. Turnovers. That's the key. Aggressive Bama State defense and a fragile Wildcat football team when we make mistakes. We have got to be certain that we treat that football as it's 10/10 the law. We cannot give that football, whether it's Jalen or whomever, and that should be emphasized.
Yeah.
Any self-destruction that we create in this football game will go a long way toward Bama State winning this football game. I think the offense is playing better, no doubt about that. But again, how do we respond when adversity hits?
Definitely.
And it's going to hit. It always does in every football game.
So for every game we played.
Definitely.
So
I mean, because against Mississippi Valley, we thought we had that game won, and before you know it, they was we was only up by 3.
Holding on for dear
Holding
life.
on for dear
For
life.
dear life.
Yeah,
We haven't won a homecoming in 3 years.
that's right.
Yeah.
3 years.
I don't want to bring that up. I was,
Well, we win at homecoming this year, baby. We win it this year, baby.
And let the church say
Gary,
amen.
pray for us.
For my co-hosts, Mr. Ralph Smith, Mr. Larry Wesley, and Mr. Jerry Bell, and Mr. CC Cruse in his absence, I'm Darold Williams saying, Hail Wildcats. Happy homecoming, Wildcats. Enjoy yourself here in Daytona. Let's get this W against the Hornets. Have a good night.
Hell, Wildcats.
Here, Wildcats.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Bethune-Cookman University alma mater.